On tap, Dark Lord. Hi, I'm James Knott, and this is the final regular episode of the Better Beer Authority. Today we are drinking a special beer, a hard-to-get beer, a Beer Geeks beer, Dark Lord Russian Imperial Stout from the Three Floyds Brewing Company in Munster, Indiana. This is one of the most sought-out beers in the United States. It is only for sale one day a year, Dark Lord Day. You have to have a ticket with a valid ID to enter the brewery to purchase your bottles. I didn't have that, so I had to trade away half my beer cellar for 2 bottles. Don't! Beer Advocate says it is 15% ABV, and the brewery describes it like this: a demonic Russian Imperial Stout brewed with intelligentsia coffee, Mexican vanilla, and Indian sugar. This beer defies description. There's a lot of hype with this beer, but unlike most reviews, this review will be blind so we can see if the beer is worthy of the expense and the hassle. Let the final blind taste test begin. Okay, here we are, the final review from the Better Beer Authority. Chef,
what's up?
What kind of flavors are you pulling out of this beer?
All right, we'll talk about flavors here. There is some dark fruit notes to it. Definitely a sweetness. It definitely lingers on your tongue a little bit. A nice creamy sweetness that hangs out for a long period of time. I think there's some nice smooth flavor. There's no hop characteristic that you can really pick up on.
Joby, was there a strong aroma to this beer?
James, when I put my nose deep in this one, I really get a syrup presence in the nose. I mean,
yeah,
like maple syrup kind of deal,
maple or I don't know, just
plum?
syrup, just
Or
something that's kind of thick,
Costco syrup,
staying on. More like pure grade A syrup, from the hills of Athens. But anyways, something that's going to stick around. Like, it even translates to the taste because it almost makes like the back end of the taste like gummy. Like you're like.
It's kind of sticky.
Sticky, yeah.
I mean, it's you have like a sticky even on your lips. There's definitely a syrupy, sugary content to it. So.
Yeah, Scott, what do you think about it? Is this a syrupy beer?
It definitely has a lot of sugar in it. Yeah, it is seriously sweet. I don't know. It's interesting. It's not what I would have expected. I would have thought it was KBS from looking at it, but. The taste, it is 10 times sweeter and definitely has almost like a plum taste to it. It is amazing. It's good beer. It's seriously sweet though.
Chef, what's your rating on this one? Is it a hard one to rate?
Yeah, it is because it's good. It's very drinkable, but there's nothing that sets it apart. That goes that step ahead. There's not an overpowering flavor on it. You know what I'm saying? It's very very well made that it's drinkable, but there's no overpowering. I think the syrupy
sweets
I think the syrupy of the sweetness, but then again and that's where I think my rating is going a little bit down because it just finishes sweet. It doesn't finish sweet with a flavor. It finishes sweet with sugar.
Well, that's what I mean. That is overpowering to me. It is super sweet.
It might be made too well. It might be blended too well. I'd rather see a large alcohol presence on the back end.
I would imagine that this is a pretty high ABV.
Yeah.
Because of all of the sugary sweetness, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna give it a 6.
6.
Wow.
All right.
No, I'll go
Joby?
7. I'll go 7.
No, you said 6. You think 7?
I'll go 7. I'll go 7 because I'm not. Like I said, I'm between the 6 and the 7 because I'm not overly impressed with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's good. It's very drinkable. It has some nice flavors to it.
I'm giving you a 6. You changed after you heard it.
Are you rating him or?
That's fine. You give me as a person, you're giving me a 6.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Hey, Joey, is this a beer you'd go out of your way for?
Out of my way, James. You know me. I don't go out of my way for much. Probably not. I do like this beer. I'm going to rate it as an 8, just because I think it's masked well, and therefore going back to my roots, it's got high drinkability for me.
What happened to the blind 10 that you set off camera there?
you know, I thought about it, but I got to be true. I got to be true to the viewers out there.
You can't rate this a 10 blindly and just say this is all right. I'm gonna go buy this crap whenever.
I can't.
All right.
I mean, I think back to my rating.
Oh, okay. It's all about Joey.
Yeah. It's got high drinkability. It's got that syrup finish, but it doesn't overpower you with any one thing. So for that, I think it's a nice, smooth beer. I would go back to it again. I'm not really sure what it is, but I think it's overall a pretty good beer.
Scott, what is your rating on this beer and why?
It's funny. I don't know what to give this. If I was maybe eating a really spicy Cajun pasta, this would be an 8 or a 9 because this would really balance it out with the sugar and it would really kind of mellow out whatever spice I was eating. With just drinking this at a bar, sitting down, it's maybe a 6. So I don't know, somewhere in between there.
That'd be a 7.
7?
That's a 7. I say maybe 7.2. I don't know. Maybe I'll go higher. Yeah, no, it's a 7.
Is there any pressure on this because this is the last beer?
I thought about that. We try to get in the head of James Knott to figure out, what's he gonna throw a curveball with us?
He probably chose the worst beer he's ever had. No, I'm just kidding.
Probably a homebrew.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
There's no pressure on it. I'm gonna rate it out how I see it.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right. Do you want me to give you a 6 or 7?
6.
Stick with the 6. If
7.
If you think I'm a 6, I'm a 6. I mean, like
7.
I said, there really, to me, there isn't an interesting characteristic that other than this sugary sweetness, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 6.
I love this because we're kind of going out with how we started. In some senses, like, this is...
So it's just
probably
Schlafly Pale Ale?
This is probably going to piss some people off. But on the other hand, like, I know what the beer is. I know how much work I had to get it. And then I'm tasting it and I'm like,
What would you give it?
Right.
So let's hear it. What would you give it?
I'd give it a 6.
Yeah.
This is like Plead the Fifth Imperial Stout, the barrel aged version that we had was tons and tons better than this.
Doesn't even stand in.
Yeah. No.
We've had so many beers on this show that were so much better than this.
Yeah.
This beer, which I'm going to reveal very quickly, has a ton of hype. It's only for sale one day a year. I had to trade a buttload of beer.
Are you serious? Dark Lord?
I had to trade a buttload of beer out of my cellar to get it. And I'm like, I want my beer back. I mean, I'm really, really glad I got to try this because this is like an epic beer geek beer.
Lord. Yeah.
Dark Lord Imperial Stout from Three Floyds Brewing.
Oh, yeah.
I could just say to the beer geeks at home,
which year is this?
Don't pay a lot of money for this beer. I think it's good. You should go and try it because you're a beer geek and you've watched this show for 3 years. But
no way.
What year is this?
This is 2013.
Maybe we need to age.
Maybe, but you know what?
What's the age going to do? There's
it's going to mellow it out.
When you talk about mellow out what?
Yeah.
There's flavor to it now.
This
it's just going to be straight caramel.
I'm a little bit surprised, frankly. Three Floyds is one of my favorite breweries that I've discovered throughout doing this show, and I was kind of expecting more.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit surprised. Are you surprised, Scott?
I am. And I'd like to actually make a shout out to Dan Hintz. Dan, seriously, dude. I thought this shit would be better.
I mean, I think, James, you nailed it. I mean, the Plead the Fifth offering from Three Floyds.
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse, yeah.
Dark Horse.
I mean, I think that is leaps and bounds better than this. That was probably one of the highest rated beers we ever had on this show. And
what about KBS? I mean,
KBS
is this blows it out of the water. I mean,
KBS Worldwide Stout. I mean, all three of those.
But again, maybe it's
comparatively,
this
is. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
This
Again,
just is so much sweeter.
We're the BBA. We shoot it straight. We didn't know what it was, so I'm sure a lot of other beer reviews out there are going to give this 9 or 10 just based on how hard it is to get and the name of the beer. So
Well, you do play that into a factor. I mean, part of our rating system is, will you get this every chance you can? But I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to Dark Lord Day to go buy this bottle of beer. I'm never going to do that.
I wouldn't
after having this,
This almost
especially.
talks me out of it. Yeah.
yeah.
I would not
this
trade one
just talked
KBS
me-
for this.
No, this just talked me out of the whole program. Like, I was honestly excited about it, and I think that it's a neat idea. It's a novel idea. It would be fun to go, and I have friends in Chicago, and I think it'd be cool. But no, I'm not. I will go the day after to go drink some of their other beers.
What are you more disappointed at, this or that Armageddon beer?
Oh man, that's a tough call.
That's tough. Yeah,
Armageddon. We spent a lot of money on.
That's true. Well, James traded a lot of beers for this. So
How many is a lot of beers though?
We can talk about it later, but it was a hard hit.
Okay.
Bobby Z, Dan.
All right, we're going to wrap this one up. Dark Lord gets a 7.0 on the BBA scale, probably way below what it gets on Beer Advocate or Rate Beer, but I don't know. I haven't even looked. This is your Better Beer Authority, and as we have always done from the start, we're shooting it straight. We've always tried to be honest, and these guys can attest to the fact that I've always told them, don't worry about how other people are rating it. Just speak from your heart. And I think this is like a testament to that, and actually kind of a great way to leave the show. I'm James Knott, and this is your Better Beer Authority, the final review. Adios.